Hey, welcome back everyone. So in today's video, I'm going to draw the nose, and I'm using plane changes to do this. I'm starting with a trace, not because I plan on tracing this, just because I wanted to really show you the shapes and then challenge myself to capture it by drawing off to the side. I think the part where we observe life and then we try to draw it on our own without tracing is really, really important. I say this all the time, like I don't like the badmouth tracing, but I don't think it's something you want to do too awfully much. Like if you're really trying to get better, I think that you need to draw it without tracing, but tracing can serve a purpose for letting us see exactly what is there, especially when doing a draw over or draw through of the plane changes. I think there it actually serves a pretty good purpose. So you can see my version is off. I think that's okay. I don't know. Maybe I gotta think it's okay because I can't get it exact, but I think that you're never going to get it 100%, right? You just got to be like, I really like a done is better than perfect mentality when I'm drawing, because if not, I'll get too awfully critical and I won't finish it. So again, done is better than perfect. We'll learn through the long stretch and duration of the work. So now I'm working into secondary plane changes. So these are specific to the artist, I think. So I studied a lot of noses this past week. I was writing a blog post on my website for you guys, a tutorial, and I studied and redrew probably 100 noses. And I think that all of them had different approaches, like especially when it came to the secondary plane changes. Now, if you look at the first plane change set up on the left, and even the trace, that's definitely the Andrew Loomis method. No doubt about it, that's where I got it. But as I started working into secondary plane changes, I found so many variations from so many different artists, old school artists, new age artists. There were so many variations that I just ultimately deemed that it must be up to the artist, like to make creative liberties, take creative liberties with it, and come up with what suits your style and your needs the most. The main thing I'll say is this: some were extremely angular all the way through in the secondary stage, and some were a mix between organic and angular, and I kind of touch on that in the blog post. But essentially, if you just find what works for you, then I think that's the right choice. We could probably all agree that the base angles, the Andrew Loomis one all the way to the top left, that part could be considered as much of a rule as anything. But again, I don't think it is a rule, it's just a guide. But at the same time, that one serves the most purpose. That is like the broad main forms that most of us could utilize and really help with drawing noses at more extreme angles. But as you start to work into those secondary plane changes, the tip of the nose, the hood of the nostrils, the bridge of the nose, you're really going to have to see how many of those shifts and angles are necessary. Because you don't want to get too far off into it where it's just distracting you or taking an absorbent amount of time to construct the nose. But if you can't get a certain part right, that's probably a clear sign that the angles could, be a little bit more well defined and help you through that part of the process. And I gotta admit, a lot of times I go right past a lot of these steps until I find myself with a very tricky angle, and then I realize the strength of, again, defining these plane changes and starting with big shapes and working down into those. Also, the light and shadow becomes way easier. Now, here I've got reference in front of me, so it's pretty clear where the light and shadow is, where the values are. But if I wanted to shift that, if I wanted to utilize the line art or the forms of this particular view, and then add some different light and shadow, which is more common to what most artists would have to do, then I can do that by using the plane changes to simplify the process, since angles are much easier to figure out the trajectory of light and shadow. But if you're trying to get a specific angle to one of your imaginative drawings, I really like some of this structure-based approach because it allows you to have that bit of perspective and alignment. And if you're like me and you tend to struggle with drawing things that are either in a dramatic angle or across the medial point of the body, so from that center line out, getting that feeling of symmetry at an extreme angle, then this is just a really big deal. It's a lifesaver. So that's where I feel the need for it. But again, if you're drawing from life, then you could probably just get good at the observational portion and proportionalize from one area of the drawing to another. Some artists get really good at that. Personally, it's just not my strength. So I think that the structure-based approach helps people like myself anyways. And for the rendering, I just picked a pencil simulated brush. So I'm actually using Clip Studio Paint in this one. And I'm just cross-hatching at various angles to slowly build up the value. And I went with a lighter tone for the brush purposely because whenever I'm trying to draw something that is feminine or soft and pretty, as this nose is, I find that it's very easy for me to miss the mark, especially when I'm going with a more comic inked line art style. I pretty much have to omit a lot of details or I will go right past the mark and draw something that's more gritty and intensified. So essentially with using a very light pencil stroke like this and just slowly building up those crosshatch marks, I can ease into it a little bit and hopefully, again, end up with something that is that feels and looks soft. So by the way, I've got this reference from Pixabay, and so the thing I love about Pixabay, I'm not paid to say this by the way, I just like the site. They have a lot of Creative Commons free or copyright free imagery, really great for artists using their work and YouTubers, things like that. So check it out. But essentially, I picked this reference because I typically struggle to get things that are soft and feminine in my work. It's a lot easier for me to draw coarse, rigid, overly angular things. So I could have picked like a witch's nose or an orc, and I would have definitely had a lot easier of a time. But that's also why I need to stop what I'm doing and literally find reference and source material that isn't in my wheelhouse. It's not my strength, so that I can develop a range of ability, right? And that I think that when we study from life, we're forced to identify with that a little bit more almost immediately. Because again, if you just get in the habit of drawing out of your brain box all the time, you're just gonna pick the stuff you think looks cool. And although I truly love doing that for inspiration and it's more motivating and things like that, there is a time and a place for these types of studies. So that's really it. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Keep in mind, I do have a full course on drawing heads. I'll link that in the description box below if you're interested, and also the tutorial that I put on my website. You might find that to be helpful as well. So thanks so much for watching. As always, keep drawing, keep having fun, and bye for now.